There isn't much for visually impaired people to do round here. Nobody really wants a worker who has to be looked after instead of just getting on. Jerusalem, well, that were hardly disability friendly either. Uneven surfaces, endless steps, trip hazards everywhere. Oh, my poor parents. So dependent on 'em long after I should have been fending for myself. Of course. I wondered what I were missing. Visual humour. I never got the joke, even when it were me. I'd so few opportunities. Only real resort begging. When people curse or spit or attack you, even move you on, you feel like a piece of rubbish. There's nothing you can do. Not really. What an astonishing day that was. I was just sitting there, one of my usual pitches on the corner, and I heard a bunch of people coming towards Main Street. I couldn't tell you how many exactly, maybe a dozen. My other senses were sharper, of course. Didn't always save me. I'd smelled the donkey droppings just before I stood in 'em. Ah, the sound of sandals, I was promising, so I grabbed my bowl. It was quiet. Sabbath. Meagre pickings felt around. 2 small coins, one felt foreign. And a stone. You'd be amazed how many miserable so-and-sos. I could hear this lot talking though. Someone asked whether blindness is punishment for the parents or a blind person's sins. Oh, same old prejudice. I didn't catch all of his reply, but I did get neither. And then God's works and being the light of the world. Calm sounding voice, Galilean accent. I ain't got as far as calling out, "Spare a denarius, governor," when that same voice says, "Bring him over here, Andrew." Worried me. Was I about to get a good kicking? Except nobody grabbed or dragged. Sandals approached. Just the 2, and I were tapped. Gently on the shoulder. And a voice says, "Won't you come and see Jesus, friend?" See? Wish I could, mate, even if I don't know who you mean. Wasn't sure what my face were doing. Didn't even know what I looked like then. But obviously they must have clocked I was blind when they were talking, weren't they? Bloke tries to help me up. I shook him off, but he still guides me across the street into the shade. Cooler. He asks my name, and the other voice says, "Did I hear you say you wished you could see me?" Might have. Slightly embarrassed. Couldn't help being a bit prickly. Didn't mean anything by it. "Well," he says, "I think that can be arranged." What can? Uh-oh. I heard spitting. But then there's a sort of scrabbling in the dirt, like he's making mud pies. He asked if I would mind some experimental treatment on my eyes. Be my guest, I thought, so I nods. Next thing I know, he's putting stuff over both my eyes. It feels sort of warm and gritty. Smells of mud. Strangely soothing though. Next he's asking, do I know the pool of Siloam? It's just round the block, course, just near the city wall. He tells me to go there and wash. Someone offers to take me, but I could find it in my sleep, night or day. Paradoxically, darkness and light are both alike to me. They were. I must have looked such a fright. I've had black eyes before, I'm told. Can't tell you why I felt excited. I'd never seen. What on earth could change that? I remember then rubbing at the mud, splashing my clothes, voices and laughter around me, coming up dripping. And as I used my headcloth for a towel, suddenly light, I supposed. Where there'd only been a world without form, a void, People were gathering round. My hands hovered, still above the water. My echo soundings were gathering flesh. Suddenly feeling dizzy, I fell over. "You all right, mate?" this bloke says. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Seen?" The questioner bends down. A face. As he helped me up, I touched my own. And then, leaning over the edge of the pool, there was reflected a man. What was that great lump between his eyes? I felt it. Oh, my nose! Wow! Oh, it all got a bit crazy after that. Sensory overload. I touched things, naming each silently in my head. But then someone grabbed me, shouting, "Here he is!" And they dragged me off somewhere. I had to keep shutting my eyes. It wasn't just the light. I needed to keep listening. And then, look who's talking. They worried at me like stray dogs, demanding to hear what had happened, and then arguing about whether Jesus was from God. Apparently want the day for miracles. They asked me my opinion then. I muttered, "Oh, he's a prophet." Made 'em worse. Wouldn't even accept I had been blind till my parents arrived. How? Oh, their voices. Never seen them, had I? Felt like we were on trial. I just wanted to gaze at them. Hesitating, they did identify me, but they said they knew nothing and to ask me. Why did this lot think God would be glorified if I denounced Jesus? I refused to repeat the story again. I asked if they were keen to be his disciples too. Oh, that really riled them. I told them only someone with God on their side could do for me something plainly impossible. I suppose Jesus heard how they threw us out then. It was the synagogue, apparently, because he came to find me later. He wanted to know if I believed in the Son of Man. Who? I didn't know he meant till he said him. Well, how could I not? Remember, I'd never set eyes on anyone before. Oh, Pharisee types, they were still hanging round whittering. When Jesus says about him coming to give sight to those without it and make the seeing blind, oh, they're up on their high horses again. But I think, oh, it means their mind's eyes now. Their minds. Their minds weren't seeing what were right under their noses. And I don't mean donkey droppings.